What's up, guys? We made it to question number 15, and let's get right into it. All right, so let me start by reading off the question. Which of the following inequalities have at least one positive solution and at least one negative solution? Indicate all such inequalities. So again, this is one of those multiple answer choice problems where there could be multiple correct answers or there could just be one, okay? So let's go ahead and start with this first answer choice. 5/3 x is less than x, okay? Now what I'm going to do to make this a little bit simpler is I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. So I'm going to have 5x is less than 3x, okay? Now, unfortunately, there's nothing mathematically that we can really do to, definitively prove, quickly that there's, either a positive or a negative solution. So what we're gonna have to do is just kind of think through this one, okay? So let's try some things, all right? Let's see. If I plug in any positive integer for x, okay, and what I mean by that is an integer would be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., right? It's not a decimal, it's not a fraction, it's just like a full, a whole number that is positive, okay? So let's try plugging in x equals 1, okay? So I will have 5 is less than 3. So right off the bat, we know that that can't be true. So it looks like there's not going to be any positive integer solutions for this one, okay? So now what I want to do is I always want to double check and make sure that there's no, fraction answers for this one, right? So let's see here. If I do, let's see, x equals 1/2, let's see what happens. So I'm going to get 5 over 2 is less than 3 over 2. All right, and 5 over 2 is going to be 2.5, right? And 3 over 2 is going to be 1.5. So again, this is not true, okay? So we can't have any positive integer solutions. We can't have any positive, fraction or decimal answers. So therefore, this one cannot be true, okay? I'm not even going to check for negative solutions because right off the bat, if there's no positive solutions, we know that this cannot be the answer, okay? So that's just a way to save some time. Right when you see that, quickly go to the next one, all right? And if you have time, you can go back and, double check your work. But if you're short on time, just go ahead and cross it out, okay? So let's start with this next one. X cubed is less than x, okay? Now, guys, to make this easier, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to divide both sides by x. So I'm going to have x squared is less than 1, okay? So let's see here. Are there any positive solutions for this? Let's think about it. Well, first, let's ask ourselves, are there any positive integer solutions, right? So could it be 1, 2, 3, 4? Let's try x equals 2, okay? So I'm going to have 2 squared is less than 1. So I'm going to have 4 is less than 1. All right, guys, so that's not true. And if we keep going higher, we're always going to keep getting greater than 1, right? So there looks like there's no positive integer solutions, okay? Now here's something to remember. What type of number, whenever we multiply it by itself, gets smaller? Okay, can you think of one? What type of number, when you multiply it by itself, does get smaller, okay? All right, guys, I'll just go ahead and tell you that is going to be a fraction, okay? So for example, if we have x equals 1/2, we're going to have 1/2, right, squared is less than 1, and 1/2 squared is going to be 1/2 times 1/2, which equals 1/4, right? All right, so if we go up here, we now have 1/4 is less than 1. All right, guys, so that is true, right? 1/4 is in fact less than 1, okay? So here we have a positive solution. So I'll just say for our positive solutions, we're good. Now let's see our negative solutions, okay? Let's see if we have anything negative. All right, guys, so if we have x squared is less than 1, what happens if I plug in a negative solution, okay? Let's say I do, well, let's try integers, right? So we could have -1, -2, -3. Let's try -2, okay? So if I have -2 squared, and it's less than 1, I'm just going to get 4 is less than 1, which is not true, right? So we can't have any negative integer solutions, but let's try the fraction solutions, okay? Let's see if that one will work. All right, let's go ahead and try it. So now I'm going to say, what happens if we do -1/2? X equals -1/2. So I'm going to have -1/2. I'm going to square it. And what am I going to get? Well, a negative times negative is just a positive, so I'm going to get the same thing, right? 1/4 is less than 1. So that checks out, all right? So now we have both a negative and a positive solution, okay? So we're going to go ahead and bubble that one in. And then let me just go ahead and clear this screen here so that we can do this next problem, okay? So go ahead and try this next one on your own, and if you can get it, great. But remember, we're just going to have to think conceptually about this one, okay? All right, so now we have x minus 6 is less than x minus 7, okay? So to make this simpler, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add 7 to both sides. Okay, so now I'm going to have x plus 1 is less than x, okay? right, guys, so now right off the bat, we have to ask ourselves, when can this be true? Okay, so let's try positive integers, right? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, ... Let's try one of these. So let's say x equals 2, all right? So I'm going to have 2 plus 1 is less than 2. All right, guys, we know that that is not true. So there's no positive integer solutions. Now what happens if we set x equal to 1/2? So if I say x equals 1/2, what do we get? Well, I'm going to get 1/2 plus 1 is less than 1, right? Sorry about that, less than 1. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have 3/2 is less than 1. So again, that's not true, okay? So guys, right now, what we've seen is that there can be no positive solutions for this, either an integer or a fraction. So if there's no positive solution for which this is true, then that means that this is not the correct answer choice. We can cross that out. And again, if you had more time, you can always try multiple values and just get comfortable with it. But yeah, B is going to be our only answer. All right. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.